Welcome, everyone, to the University of South Alabama Library's interview with people in our community, people that really influenced Mobile and made a difference here in the city. Today we are meeting with Mr. Robin Delaney. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. We have a series of questions for you, but please feel free to contribute or discuss or anything you like as we move along.
Okay.
First off, tell me where you're from.
I'm born and raised in Mobile, Alabama. I grew up in downtown Mobile.
Okay. So, in growing up in downtown Mobile, is there anything that you really remember that really touched you or you really affected you from back in those days?
That's a good question. I grew up in the time when Brooklyn Air Force Base closed and downtown Mobile began its slow decline. And so I witnessed, because I grew up on Government Street, a lot of the old homes were replaced by fast food restaurants. So that impacted me, and the decline of downtown Mobile also impacted me. But I did love riding my bike to Linecoff School every day.
Okay. So that's where you went to school, is Linecoff? It's not there today, is it?
Oh, yes.
It is?
Oh,
okay.
yes.
It's still standing. That's amazing.
It's in the Garden District.
Okay. Very cool. Now, where did you go to high school?
I went to UMS.
Okay. So, do you remember what years? What year did you graduate from UMS?
1975.
Okay. Very cool. Now, where did you go from there?
After high school, I went to Swanee, which is in University of South Swanee, Tennessee. Went to college there, and then I went to New York University for graduate school, graduate film, and then I got my first job at CNN in Atlanta.
Oh, wow. So did you meet Ted Turner?
Oh, yes.
Oh, wow. Now, I was also told that you went to school with somebody pretty significant.
Spike Lee was in my class.
Spike Lee?
Yeah.
Wow. Did you realize his impact at the time?
He already was known as an outstanding student, and he was making his first film on his credit card. And so he was well known, and everybody wanted to work on his films. But he had an inspiration on me to do documentaries, as well as Ted Turner working briefly with CNN. It had a big impact on wanting to do documentaries.
What do you remember any of the documentaries you worked on at CNN?
They were mainly for the news department, health stories, and then he began to do some Green Planet documentaries about the environment and population with his TBS channel.
Okay. And then you came back to Mobile?
Yes, I came back and worked at Lewis Communications in advertising, and then I began my television career at WKRG.
And what year did you start at WKRG?
I started there in 1990, and I was there for 18 years.
Oh, wow. So you were a good bit of time.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. Now, this leads to a significant film that a lot of people have told me about. What's the name of that film?
For the Mobile 300th year anniversary, the Mobile Tricentennial, WKRG made a documentary of the history of Mobile. It's called We Are Mobile, the spirit of a place and its people.
And you produced that film?
I produced it at WKRG for the Mobile Tricentennial Commission.
Okay. Now, what was your motivation?
Well, Mobile had a history from 1702 to to 2002. So we had to try to capture 300 years of history in an hour and a half. So that was kind of a challenge.
Mm-hmm. In what way?
Well, we wanted to tell the story of the unique place that Mobile is, and we began to understand that really encompassed Mobile Bay, the whole area. Mm-hmm. And we also wanted to tell the story about the unique people of Mobile and the many different cultures through the history of the years. Mm-hmm. And so it really became a story about the people and the unique place that's Mobile.
What's an interview or a part of that sequence that you recall that really impacted you?
Well, let's see. We had a lot of helicopter footage. WKRG had a helicopter, and we flew over the Delta. And to see the beauty of our area, the beaches, the bay, the Delta, the wildlife from the air, that probably had as big an impact as it did interviewing the 50 or so historians mm-hmm. that we tried to grasp the history of.
Okay. Did you interview anybody here at the university?
Let's see. I know we did. I can't remember exactly. Who it was. Mm-hmm. The two interviews that stood out were people that reflected on the history of Mobile, especially during the civil rights era, mm-hmm. and also the people that were conscious of the environmental significance of the area.
Mm-hmm. You were just sharing with me that you're instrumental in Mobile's past, but mm-hmm. you're also making forth and putting forth deep and sincere effort to help preserve Mobile's future and save rural areas and places in Mobile that can be saved for the future. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, one thing I learned from the documentary We Are Mobile was the significance of people with vision. E.O. Wilson, for example, is like the father of biodiversity, and he shed a great light on the significance of the Mobile Bay Delta area. Another person that I learned about in the documentary was Hank Aaron. He's from Mobile. Both Hank Aaron and E.O. Wilson both died last year, and they were people of vision. Hank Aaron grew up during the civil rights era in Mobile. So to me, E.O. Wilson represents the unique place of Mobile. Hank Aaron represents the unique people of Mobile. And those two issues are still relevant today. As you notice, when downtown Mobile led to the great, its decline led to the great expansion of West Mobile. WKRG, the TV station, moved to West Mobile. Kenneth R. Goodens built Bel Air Mall next to his TV station. So it was a great migration of prosperity. And along with that came some disenfranchisement of the older parts of town. You had poor people left behind, and you also had a lot of development from the 1980s to 2000 in West Mobile. It's great prosperity, and also created a tremendous amount of growth. Mm-hmm. Now what you see is a cycle. Now where Brooklyn's closed, now Airbus is being built. The Mobile Airport is moving to Brooklyn. Downtown is coming back. the ships are being built at Austell. So you see kind of a return to Mobile's core. At the same time, now that West Mobile has reached its boundaries to the west, that same growth is now shifted to Baldwin County. So again, the story is repeated that was the story of West Mobile. Now, considering Mobile a bi-county area on both sides of the bay, now you have Baldwin County being having great prosperity, tremendous growth, and with that you have issues of development and preservation. So that is what I saw in Mobile is being repeated in Baldwin County, both the good and the bad. And so that's the kind of thing that I'm trying to work towards for the future.
Explain, like Malbus, for example.
Well, one of the first projects was Historic Malbus. They were founded in 1910. It was a great community. They had 10,000 acres. And as they began to decline, like downtown Mobile, they wanted to come up with a plan to preserve it and to create prosperity and vitality and commercial growth. And the growth in Baldwin County is so dynamic that the schools struggle, the traffic, infrastructure, all those issues of prosperity are happening. So it's a challenge that's now being repeated. I live in Spanish Fort, and so we're working on a project next to historic Blakely State Park, again, to preserve the properties that E.O. Wilson recognized, and also to give some historical reference to, for example, the African-American soldiers that fought at Blakely. Mm-hmm. So those two issues, people in place in Mobile, are now in Baldwin County, and that's kind of what my focus is now.
Okay, that's fascinating. Thank you so much for sharing that. We're a university, and I always like to leave these with a bit of advice for the students of the future. So when they're watching this and they're learning about us today, and we're long gone and time has moved on, what piece of advice would you like to give the students of the University of South Alabama for the future?
Well, that's easy. It's all about people having vision and showing leadership. I mentioned E.O. Wilson, I mentioned Hank Aaron, Mike Dow with the String of Pearls, the development of downtown, the 1,000-acre tract I mentioned. President Bonner at the university is helping me with that, to come up with ideas. People of vision and leadership is what it's all about, and what that means is giving people with vision the opportunity to be leaders, and leaders are largely elected, and so it's not about those tremendous individuals. It's about the support of the community for them, whether they're elected or supported. It's very important that each individual, even a place as big as a university, each individual, a student here, they're going to impact the community, and it's a great challenge to meet. They've always said, what's so great about Mobile? It's the people here are real nice. We haven't had the tremendous racial strife of other areas, but we still have some. I want people, the students that are here, and the people from here, the people that live here, to remember that there's a certain amount of humility and charity that's going to keep Mobile the unique place that it is. And we really need to look after all people in all places.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Thank
you for
you.
your time.
Oh, it's been fun.